probably one of our top plays for today. You're going to have it right into resistance though. The key on this is going to be when you're looking at the Netflix, the key on this thing is going to be really like when you're looking at it, so it's getting up to 380, right? It's getting up to 380. That's awesome. So now if it needs to really get over this 386 to really get going. Now if it does that, what you can see here is, right, so draw a trend line. So what you'll see over here is there's a gap that needs to be filled that kind of takes it into this 392, 400 zone. And that really puts it in striking distance of, that really puts it in the striking distance of this 420. So that's something to kind of keep in mind of. So overall, this thing, hey, YouTuber, what's going on? Tampa Bay, baby. So that'll put us in striking distance 420. Now, it won't hit 420 for literally many, many days. But this is a good sign. So watch and see if it gets into that, and then we'll get a little gap fill on this bad boy, and we can get this pate going. LRCX, this one is junk. So let's first take a look at the QQQs. Yesterday was an epic run because you had like this huge, huge trend. You very rarely see a 9 EMA trend on an index, like really ever, right? And so that's going to be pretty much all. That's just a monster move. You can count in a given year like, a handful of times where the Dow Jones will move up like 500 points. And so that's actually pretty good. So right now, that's a bullish case scenario. We passed over that high. Remember, we were looking at that range yesterday, right? We were looking at the range, and QQQ said if it goes below, we'll go down here. And if it gets above, we could come back. And so we've now broken that range. So, any pullbacks towards that range need to be bought. But the good thing is having a close over the 9 EMA. Fresno, baby. That's awesome. And the close over the 9 EMA gives us a lot more room to maybe about 180. So we're gapping down a little bit in the market. But frankly, on a day like today, you could very well go red to green in the market and really start to ramp. So, even though the market's opening weak right now, watch this kind of level over here. If you start to take it out, then it's just all systems are a go. Now, the caveat of, having a big day like yesterday that goes down is one thing. When you have a big, big day, oftentimes the secondary day can be inside the previous day's range. So you get a little bit of choppiness to just absorb like what happened the day before. So what we call that is like an inside range day. If that happens, you have to be more selective with your stocks, meaning that the market breadth overall won't be so hot that you could just buy everything like yesterday. You have to be really selective with really the best stocks. Now, if we take out the high of the previous day, then it's just an all systems are a go. And then, hopefully we ramp up into these kind of 180s over the next couple days. But tech was hot yesterday, Dow was hot, S&P was hot. It was across the board. One thing to always kind of look at when you're kind of doing your scans is how many breakouts were there versus breakdowns. So you guys notice there's about 12 on the top loser scan, right? So we use different kind of methods to see how much things have moved out. You have 12 names on the list. On the liquid gainer scan, there was 510 names. So when you have 510 names on your green scan, 12 on the red scan, what that's essentially saying is that the market breadth, the overlying structure of the market was really strong. Oftentimes, if you get an up day, but the number of breakouts versus the number of breakdowns is low, and oftentimes on an up day, you may even see more breakdowns than breakouts, that means the market breadth is really poor and the rally can't be trusted. So just something to kind of keep an eye out, these things. Look, these pot stocks are gapping down today. It looks like today's like, right, the news or whatever that Canada's doing, whatever. And so, these things may experience some weakness now. This is a buy the rumor, kind of sell the news event. These things have been running for, a while. And so, these things are not on my priority anymore. At least not today. So I just kind of keep mind of that. We got IBM on the gap down list over here. It's had some earnings out. It's been really getting flushed down. If it stays under this trend line right here at 138, then I think that's going to be, we could take shorts in this one. So if you look at the overall kind of, right, overall range on this thing, it goes back quite a bit of ways, back until, last year. So this one, we'll look at it for potential ORB or quick pullback buy. One thing with IBM is due to the float, it's easier to kind of short it on pops and chase it down because it's just a thick stock in general. This IQ's been gapping up based on some news with Viacom. It may fade off because it's just been in such a long-term range. But one thing to keep an eye on is if it gets over 27.50, that's where your last moving average is because it's nestled right under two of them, then this thing could start to run. I'd watch that 27.50. What I'll usually do when I have something like that is, I'll just set an alert, right? Create a trend line alert. If it gets above there, then you want to start looking at it for an ORB pattern or a quick pullback pattern at the open. If it's under there, you don't want to take any of the gapper trades because the gap can just fade. Remember, gaps in general have to be, they got to be clean, right? So that's where things got to go. 39 degrees, hot damn, TNA. That's cold. Yeah, it's like 90 degrees out here still. Too hot, right? So NBEV's gapping down. All these are turds unless you can find borrows on them, which I don't have them, so they're not going to do you any good. NIO, yeah, look, this stock sucks to trade. Look, see these candles here? What these candles mean is, see like the bodies of these candles? It means it has no range, right? So when you see a thin body like that, they just have no range. And so it's essentially just untradeable. Like if you're watching this thing and you're like freaking trying to trade this thing, you wouldn't be able to really nail more than 4 or 5 pennies on it. And so for me, that's a takeoff. Probably a better swing than a day trade. This PVTL is getting smoked out pre-market here. You actually got a decent range on this, $2 already. 226,000 shares pre-market volume, which is pretty good. You're breaking under these 2 moving averages over here. This is a stock, because its floats low at 39 million shares, you can ORB this pattern at the open. So if you see the gap down and you get 3 or more sideways candles, then you can short that thing. If you don't get the ORB, let it pop. Let it pop into its 9 EMA and start to roll over. Get a red candle to hold. Have red candles holding there. And then as it comes back down, you can flush this thing back down. Roku's got some news out with something in Mexico. If it gets over these 2 MAs and it is gapping over, you do got room to 68 on this thing. Obviously, it's came a long way back down, and so it's just in bounce mode. I do think we have potential to maybe 68, 69 on this. I'd watch this one for an ORB also. What's up, BB? Taco. Right, so Taco's getting smoked out pre-market. You got a bear flag over here on its daily chart. This is also one that's got good enough range on it. You can take an ORB on this thing. The one thing with this, so it'll have an SSR on it. It's down 13%. When you're down 13%, you get the SSR on it. Hot damn, right? At that point, you want to hit this thing into the 9 EMA. Hey, Jason, man, when you going to come and visit me? What's going on? When are you going to come visit me? I keep forgetting you're in the Panhandle. Dude, cruise over to the crib. Good. Now, man, let me see this thing. Man, my TC2000's frozen. There we go. Couple stocks to add to the watch list today. NDLS. This thing was hot yesterday. Even after the gap, it kept continuing on. What kind of pattern do we got over there? Flat top breakout, right? Flat top breakouts are powerful. This has got 12 million share float. Everybody likes noodles. Sounds like a win-win to me. We'll watch this one for, if it's opening week today, we'll go red to green on this bad boy. A stock like this can run hot on a red to green because of the float. And then if there's volume on it, it should really get going. I added this go-go to the watch list. This is a base breakout pattern. You can see 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. This is a longer-term bottoming pattern. Good job, BB, by the way, on that. This is a longer-term bottoming pattern. Base breakouts can be really powerful in a bull market for a specific reason, because when you get stocks that have come all the way down and based out for a period of time, Buyers and sellers have reached equilibrium. This is a longer term bottoming pattern, right? You see kind of like a W on that. That's like your, that's always your tell. This I is the hottest stock in the market right now, right? It's the one that's actually one of few that is actually at highs. The volume was increasing yesterday, and you just had a monster trend. Look at this bad boy, right? You ORB'd on this thing. You ORB'd on this thing at the open. It was just a 9 EMA rider. Yeah, dude, come by the house, man. Seriously. Hit me up, email me, call me, text me, and let me know when you want to go get loose. Keep that one on the list. Also, ACAD came out of its flag pattern. So this is probably, this and I are really, and Noodles are really the strongest kind of stocks that we got on the list. They're both having some key breakouts. This is going to be also a candidate for red to green. ACAD does trade fast, so be careful on it. You want to keep that thing going. AMD, bottoming pattern now. After this big pullback, see how it closed over the 9 EMA? Closing over the 9 EMA is really, really powerful, right? When you close over the 9 EMA after a big a big wipe down, not a wipe down, but a correction, right? 20-30% corrections are natural in momentum stocks. Now that you've closed over the 9 EMA, this is turning into a bottoming pattern. It should start to, as long as the market holds, right? This thing should start to creep back its way towards highs. That's what happens with a lot of these big momentum tech stocks, right? They get flushed down, then they'll go sideways for a period of time, let new buyers circulate into it, and then they start to make their way back up. Yesterday was a big day for some of these names, so keep some of these names like Roku and AMD is really the cleanest one on the list. VTVT, and this thing stock trades like such a hoe, but yeah, like it's been trading like a hoe, but it did have some run end of day yesterday, so yeah, you could keep this on your watch list. Small cap stock like this, you could take it at the open. May have just enough juice to keep this thing going. I'd put it on the list. Somebody was asked about OGen. Man, OGen trades like a hoe. And it's not even Friday night, right? This is, okay, so it went from 30 to $4. That's good. Jacob, what's up, baby? Now this thing's kind of gapping up into resistance. To me, it's not clean, right? If it got over 150, you've got action on it. But anything under 150, there's going to be too much supply. And so let the thing build. The one thing with the stock like an OGen, when it goes, it really goes. So you don't have to really get it like right, you don't have to get it low. It just ends up being, if you got to let it really set up, right? So overall, this is probably not my cup of tea. I'd rather stick with Noodles, Go-Go, and then on the gappers, we like IBM, Netflix, PVTL, and Taco, all right? I haven't talked about ears, but ears looks all right too. But it's under its 200 SMA. When you get big candles like this, see how these two candles over here, right? These are reversal candles. And the fact that it can't close over the 200 SMA that's a no bueno. So to me, that's a hoe for sure. And yeah, Pura, I don't know what to really do with it, besides that it's strong. All right, so that's the list for today, guys. The market had a big rebound day, so that can't be ignored. All right, so go out and do what you got to do. Watch for the market to possibly go red to green on this thing and keep going today. So let's go do what we got to do. All right? Hasta mañanas. Now, let me look at this. Let me look at this flag real quick. Man, this thing is too messy for me. When you get those blocky candles and stuff, not really my exact cup of tea. Usually I like a little bit more heat than that. See these blocks right here? That's wild, right? So that's where we've got to come in and kind of go with this bad boy. So as always, we'll be doing what we got to be doing. Watch that Netflix today. Look, something like Netflix, so even though it's gapping up, Let it come back. Let the 9 EMA catch up. Notice how the 9 EMA is just at the 350 over the next say 3-4 candles. You'll start to see that 9 EMA creeping up on it, and then at that point you're gonna get this thing to go. All right. Now let's go do what we got to do. So you get a little bit of weakness. You can see the Dow Jones is weak, SPY's weak, but the NASDAQ is green. So usually how you want to work this thing at the open is, right, you want to see if this thing rolls back over and follows its friends, or is it the leader and pushes its friends into the green, right? And that'll give you an idea of which way you really want to take the trading for the day. But keep an eye on this ACAD too. I think this is gonna be one of those heaters, because you got that 2320 kind of breakout from yesterday, right? That was the previous day's high. Very tried and true method of trading, right? Is if you get a hot pattern, you break the previous day's high, you can get a little bit of action on that thing. Just got to be mindful of what's going down with the market because of the volatility right now. All right, my friends, I got to go do what I got to do. Hey, Anthony, I'll see you in class tonight. You've been doing a good job. Jason Huffy, make sure you give me a buzz. All right? You got my number, right, Jay? Cool. All right, well, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.